everybody. It has been a long time. It's been at least a couple of months, probably closer to 3 or 4 months here since we've had a program. But we have been kind of letting everything lay. We knew we were getting a brand new superintendent. At that time, we just didn't know who, and it got kind of confusing as to who to ask for information for a while. So what we did was, we knew it was summertime. It was a good time for that to happen. We knew it was a summertime. Everybody was going on summer break. And I really don't remember, George may be able to correct me later, I don't remember if we actually did kind of a closing of the year even, because of the way everything fell. But it's been a great summer. We do have a brand new superintendent, and she is here with us today. And we've called this a conversation with Dr. Epperson. She is taking this show and pretty much has organized some other folks to come with her and to talk Humboldt City Schools. I expect you're going to leave this meeting knowing her vision. I really do, and I've been very impressed with what I have seen so far. I may not have been able to attend all of those in person, but I've been watching online these virtual events that she's been doing, and she's so kind to stop by today and to spend with us 4:30 in the afternoon on a Wednesday and airing it right here on Viking News on Demand. Now, we also have sports that's coming up, and I want to take this just for a moment and say this. If you would like to be a sponsor of sports on Viking News on Demand, as well as this show that's going to be airing every week, then we'll go back to our news show every week. You can email us at Viking News on Demand. So it's vikingnewsod@gmail.com. vikingnewsod@gmail.com. We have our own website that you can watch this right here live on, as well as our sports, and keep you updated on when we will be live. Our website is vikingnewsondemand.com. vikingnewsondemand.com. So we're going to turn it over to Miss Epperson, and appreciate her taking time with us. Her and George are going to be taking over the show here, and thank you again, Miss Epperson, for being here.
Thank you so much. I guess the first thing we would like to say is Happy New Year to everyone, or happy return to school for the 2021-2022 year. We are so glad that you have allowed us to take an opportunity to shed some light on all things Humboldt City Schools as we return to in-person instruction. Today, I have brought some people with me today. I think for the most part, we have the aces and the places. We have with me Mr. Wayne Sheehan, who will talk with you briefly about transportation dress code, a little breakfast issues or concerns that some parents may have had, and supply list information. Also, I have with me George Yarbrough. George is our district-wide athletic director. He will discuss with you some things that are related to sports for this coming up school year. And also I have with me Nurse Nicole Donald. So Nicole will also shed a little bit of light on our COVID plan. So again, I want to welcome my parents back and my students back. We've had one listening and learning tour, and we will officially call this tour number 2. And we will give everything to you that we can today. And we will also say that if you have questions after today, you are more than welcome to contact your child's principal, and he or she will give you as many details and the intricacies of what we discussed today. So at this time, I'll turn it over to my district-wide athletic director, Mr. George Yarbrough.
Okay. Hello out there to all our listeners. We are glad to be back with you. And as Seth said earlier, we didn't have a closing to our last show, but we definitely missed the community. We missed giving the news out. But with things such as they were, we just wanted to make sure we wanted to give the community the accuracy of knowing what was going on. And now that we are in a stable place, we are ready to begin this year. And as our theme mentioned as we opened up last week, Friday, I do believe, we're on the move, and it ain't no stopping us now. So for you English teachers, don't just ignore my grammar on that. That's just the theme, and we're going to go with it. So I'd like to talk a little bit about our sports program. Of course, it is football season. We're buzzing with football. Our last show, I think, Seth, had to do with our hiring of our new coach, Coach Teddy Pettigrew. And when I say he's hit the ground running, that's exactly what I mean. Coach Pettigrew has put his staff in place, and we are eager to get started with football, as we have already started with 2 7-on-7 games that we've played. Those 7-on-7 games has occurred with Northside High School, and the other 7-on-7 game occurred with Crockett County High School. So I was able to get out to one of those 7-on-7s because I want Coach to have his time, and I don't want to be hovering over him, but from what I see, we are looking good on the football field and implementing his style of play and everything that goes along with putting his spin on things as the new Humboldt Viking first-year coach, Coach Teddy Pettigrew, and his staff. Also, we want to mention that our junior high program is also off to a good start. Our first week was last week with our junior high student athletes. We have a new coach on the junior high level, and that is Coach Stephen Sanderson. Coach Sanderson has come to us and brings a wealth of knowledge of offensive background in the game of football, and he's going to have some duties and responsibilities on the high school level as well. But he is heading up our junior high head coach football. Junior Vikings is what we like to refer to them as. And I want to give you a little bit of information about our football schedule, and then I'm going to move briefly into volleyball with Coach Chandra Macklin as our head coach and Coach Dominique Shivers as our assistant. But August the 12th is going to be our first game, regular season game against Northview on August the 12th. Junior high, Junior Vikings will take the field, and we will be on the road. That's an away game, and that will be August the 12th. Prior to that, we'll have a couple of jamborees that we'll attend, one in Lake County, and then we'll also attend another jamboree, I think, in Dyer County. And those are the two jamborees that we'll do preseason-wise, and you're required of, you can legally do two jamborees when you are on the junior high level, and we've exhausted all those resources and those opportunities to do those jamborees. So we'll get more information out to you on the junior high level. Moving on to the Humboldt High School Vikings, our first game will be against Brewston Central. We'll be having a home game on August the 27th versus Brewston. Would like to encourage all fans to come out and support your Vikings. We're looking to field this team. We have a total of 28 players on the high school level, and I think we've added two more. Physicals have come in, and the requirements that they're having to be responsible for has afforded us to add two more players. So we have a total of 30 players on our roster for high school football, and we have 24 on our roster for junior high football, with 6 waiting in the wing. So they need to get some requirements and get some physicals and get some things that we require as student athletes, and we're excited about that. Our volleyball schedule, it will start around August the 15th, and we will have our first volleyball game. Our schedule is being completed now. I should have that schedule in, working with Coach Macklin today, and I will be able to give an official volleyball schedule. And that will go out this week. We'll finalize that by Friday. And as we said, we're on the move with Humboldt Viking Sports and Athletics. And we would like to give a special shout out to our coaches who's working real hard to get our student athletes prepared for us to take the field, take the court, and to represent you and put that product on the field that you'll be proud of. So I think that's all I have on sports, and if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. Our number there at the central office is 784-2652, or you can always get in touch with us via the website, hcsvikings.org, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have concerning athletics or otherwise, tickets, how much it costs to come to games, all those things centered around athletics. We will have answers for you. If we can't produce them right away, we'll certainly get back with you and make sure we get you the proper information regarding athletics. So that's all I have said. I'll turn it back over into the hands of our superintendent, Dr. Janice Epperson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yarbrough, and we are soliciting all of the support that the community and neighboring towns can give us as we work very diligently to get our athletic programs where they are indicative of the pride of the Vikings. So at this time, I will turn it over to my right hand, Mr. Wayne Sheehan.
All right, good afternoon. Some of the information I'm going to be giving you is some information we've had questions already coming to the schools and to the board office. We'll deal with one of the things that we love to provide and that we have provided every year here in the last few years. We do have breakfast in the classroom for every student, and we have lunch for every student that's enrolled in Humboldt City Schools. The first half a day is going to be a half day. We dismiss at 11 o'clock. They will be sent home with a sack lunch for that day. So every day we're in school and we have school, we will provide breakfast and we will provide a lunch for them. The next thing I wanted to address are supply lists. We always have a lot of questions about that. They're located in several different places. Walmart has copies of them. They may be out of them. If they are, please visit the school web pages or the school Facebook pages. They have been listed on those for you to use. You may have to print them out, or you may just pull them up in Walmart and look at the list while you're there. Dress code is always a big topic for us at the beginning of the year. These dress codes are on each school site. If you'll go to the hcsvikings.org and then you go to the campuses, each school has a parents tab at the very top. If you'll go under that, the handbook is listed. It'll be a PDF version of that handbook, and in that handbook will be the latest dress code for that school. Your students will be given information the first week or actually the first couple of days we're here to address any dress code issues at that time, and then those will be corrected for the beginning of the school year. Transportation. Oh, this is a big one. We will provide, and I get this question every year, we will provide transportation all school days on our calendar. We will provide morning and we will provide afternoon transportation. Inclement weather days, of course, those will be called off by the superintendent, and we will not provide transportation on those days, but every other day we will provide transportation. It never fails. At the end of the year, I have someone the last couple of days of school and say, are you going to provide transportation in the last day of school? We have always provided transportation the last day of school. The bus stops are going to be just like they were in the past. We'll go back 2 years ago because last year, we just don't want to worry about last year. Last year was a little different. But we on the website under transportation, all of those bus stops are listed for each bus in our district. Choose the location or the stop closest to your physical address. We ask that all students be out there on the first couple of days at about 6:50 in the morning for the first riding of the bus. You will learn the route of the bus and the times that they're there. There are just too many unknowns during the school year. New students, students that we have to drop off a little earlier at schools, and changes in routes. That the safest way to do it is to be out there by 6:50. You will never miss a school bus. The schools will have a copy of those routes. If they don't have one, they can actually, you can just go to the website. If you call the central office, they'll put you through to my office, and I can provide that for you as well. The last thing I guess that we want to talk about, and I'll start this off and then I'll get Nurse Nicole to help me out with this, but we're going to talk about our COVID plans for the district. Right now, the biggest thing we're going to do is we're going to follow CDC guidelines. When they change, we're going to change. So I'm going to pass it to Nicole and let her go ahead and have the conversation about some of the things we're going to put in place to be able to accommodate your children safely in our school district.
Thank you. Yes, the mask. I know everybody's wondering about the mask. Masks are not required, but they are highly recommended. It's highly recommended because you don't want your child coming in contact with anybody that might have it, might be near somebody that has had it. As far as social distancing, we're going to require them to stay 3 to 6 feet apart, but as children, that's not always possible. As far as we're going to have hand washing stations, hand sanitizing stations throughout every school. They are going to wash their hands whenever they do anything. As far as coming back from breakfast, going to the restroom, we're going to make sure they wash their hands and use the hand sanitizer.
All right, so those are our plans, and like we said, in as far as transportation, we're going to provide masks as well on the buses. The children are not going to be made to wear them, but they will be optional. We'll have those on hand. And like Nurse Nicole said, we are going to have all the personal safety products that we need for your child to keep safe and to keep sanitary throughout the school day, to and from school. So we want you to feel, just be rest assured that we are taking care of your child's safety while they're on campus. But that's what we've got now. Of course, if you will and have more questions or have specific questions, please reach out to your school first. Reach out to the building principal. If it's a district-related question, you can still reach out to them. They will get the information or the question to us, and we can reach out back to you. Please, above all, make sure your contact information is correct in our system. Make sure we have your phone number. If you want an email address, please just make sure we have the right email address so when we have information to get out to you, we can get it to you in a timely manner.
Okay, so thank you, Wayne, and thank you, Nurse Nicole. I'm going to reiterate what Nicole said and what Wayne said. We are taking all of the precautionary measures that we can. We will be following CDC guidelines, but please remember that those are fluid. And so as they change, again, we will also change. Another thing I would like to just thank the community for, Seth, is just we did a cleat project for the football team. It went well. It went extremely well. So we are so happy that our students will not have that as a need as we go through the football season this year. Thanks again for all the questions that we have had related to our COVID plan. We try to keep it simple. As you can see, we tried not to change much from what we had last year, and we just wanted to address those concerns that have come before us by parents.
Sure thing. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to give Dr. Epperson just a kind of a chance to talk to us about her vision for the school system. I know she's done this in other settings as well, and then anything else they need to throw in here. This is going to be a shorter commercial break this time because, again, we are in the process of getting our sponsors for this upcoming school season. And if you want to be a sponsor, it's very reasonable. Sometimes people write it off and they say there's no way that we can do that. It's cheaper than probably you would think. And so you can be a part of this show, showing your support not only for the school system, but for athletics. And it's just a great way to get your business name out there. Email us at vikingnewsod@gmail.com. That stands for On Demand, vikingnewsod@gmail.com. We'll be right back.
We'd like to remind folks that Humboldt only has one local history source published each week, the Humboldt Chronicle. Local government and education issues, crime and justice, people you know in the news, sports, features, and more each week at your fingertips in the print edition or online. Stop by their office at 2606 East End Drive, Humboldt, or give them a call at 731-784-2531. The Humboldt Chronicle. Nobody covers Humboldt like the Chronicle.
Our world is changing every day in ways that no one would have imagined just a short time ago. But we won't forget. We won't forget our loved ones, our values, or the way we do business. With caring, with attention to detail, and with new ways to celebrate and honor your memories.
Hi, I'm Chester of Baskerville Funeral Home. We really do love the families we serve in West Tennessee, and it's an honor and privilege to take care of your loved ones. At Baskerville Funeral Home, we're committed to caring and sincere service.
I am Chancellor Baskerville. My family is here for your family in times of need. Folks, yesterday is gone, today is almost over, and tomorrow isn't promised. So when your family and friends take their last breath, the world stops for you. We are available 24 hours a day. We use the latest technology along with good old-fashioned family values, common sense, and compassion. Chester, Donald, or myself are here for you and your family in your time of need. We are Baskerville Funeral Home, Directors of Distinction.
Hey Vikings fans, this is Ted Martin, former Humboldt Vikings quarterback and class of '93 graduate. When me and my fellow classmates want to follow Viking sports, we watch Viking News on Demand. In addition to live streaming of games, there are also plenty of specialty shows that keep us all involved in our alma mater. On behalf of the class of 1993, go Vikings!
You're listening to Viking News on Demand.
Welcome back in. Viking News on Demand school news show beginning back today after the quick commercial break. Again, if you want to be a sponsor, go to vikingnewsod@gmail.com. We need that email, vikingnewsod@gmail.com. Very reasonable. We'll work out a package that meets you and your business and get you on here with us. We're excited about the things that are happening at Humboldt City Schools. And Wayne, you've got some more information here for us in the second half.
I do. We want to share with you the dates for our open houses. Right now, tonight at East, we will have open house from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. On Thursday, July 29th, Stigall will have their open house from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. And the high school will have their open house after the start of the school year. It'll be August 10th from 5 to 7 p.m.
All right. Fantastic. And I know we're going to get into some vision casting here with Dr. Epperson as well. She has been making the rounds, and that's one of the things, Dr. Epperson, we are thankful for is how that, you've been very open throughout this whole process I watched your interview with the school board. I was actually out of town that day, but watched your interview through Mr. Sheehan. Actually, he was providing that from the school page, and just your solutions, your answers to all of their questions was very, very top notch. And I was hoping that you would be sitting here today, and your vision for this school system is going to be very important. So I want to give you a chance. I know you've been doing it across the city at different forums, but we want to give you a chance here on Viking News on Demand to kind of cast that vision, talk about what you see coming.
So thank you again, Seth, for just being interested in what we're doing with the school district.
Sure.
It has been a pleasure just to be able to take these listening and learning tours. And our vision is pretty simple this year. Like Mr. Yarbrough said, our theme is Ain't No Stopping Us Now, We're on the Move. And we are trying to move the district forward, move it in the direction that we know our school board has tasked me to do, and that's progressing rapidly. That's a little difficult in the midst of a pandemic, and we are still, experiencing that, but that's our focus. So we try to think of something that's catchy, think of something that the community can remember. So we're doing all things centered around the TACO. That stands for the acronym Talent, Academics, Culture and Climate, and Operations. So everything we do, if the students are not the core and it doesn't fit in one of those buckets, we are probably not going to continue doing that.
Sure.
We are striving to get the aces in the places with our district staff and our teachers, and making sure that our students' needs are being met. We do have a superintendent council that is comprised of only students at all levels. They actually were present, and they had their first showing at our opening in service.
Yeah.
They're very vocal, they're very honest, they're very truthful, and they share their concerns, and they bring those concerns from their peers. So we are working this year to listen to those concerns and to make school fun and exciting, and making sure that they are learning and they're getting the quality of education that they deserve.
Sure. And is that something new?
I'm not really sure if the former superintendents had that, but my superintendent, when I left Connecticut, she had a student council, and it worked really well.
Well, I know if it isn't new, I haven't heard much about it, so that sounds very, very good. And you talk about the aces in the right places there. That's something that we've struggled with, is keeping teachers here, and it's not because they don't want to be here, because I've heard them say, I really want to stay. Has there been much looking into why teachers, are we doing something to become more of a destination place where they want to be here?
Absolutely. So we are currently asking all teachers who are leaving the district for whatever reason. Some of them is by force and some are by choice. But whatever the reason is, we are asking them to grant us an exit interview so we can kind of see what was their experience like while they were here. Do they have anything we can focus on so far as refining, the district and making it better? So that has worked really well. Found out some things, when you set yourself up for that, you have to be willing to know that you're going to hear some things you don't really want to hear, but then you need to hear.
Yes.
So having said that, we are working on trying to recruit actively, and people will tell you I'm like Harry Wong. I will steal every person I can get. If they're good, I want them, and I want them on our team, and we're going to continue to work, and we're going to do all we can to keep our teachers. A part of that information has come from current teachers who have stayed, and it ranges everything from lack of professional development or just being supportive. So the principals have decided that they're going to work on improving the culture and the climate of their buildings, and we as a district, we're working on the same part of the TACO. Not that we're slighting anything else, but we do believe that culture and climate eat strategy for breakfast. So if you don't have a good culture and climate, all the other practices that you put in place are not going to work.
Very good, very good. I told you I was watching your interview with the board out of town. I was sitting there watching. I was actually at a youth camp.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sitting in the lodge lobby. The kids are outside in the heat, and I'm going inside for a minute. So I'm sitting in here, and this lady walks up and she goes, I recognize that voice, and she worked for you when you were a principal in Jackson.
Oh, okay. Good.
And she was like, if they hire her, they're getting a good one. I hated when she left. And so
Awesome.
I think that reputation is going to help you as well, because I'm hearing that. So teachers are going to want to come here because of that, I believe. And I'm excited about where we're headed, from the top down here. We're just a few days away from the start of school, and I saw a post the other day that said we still have quite a few teacher openings. How do you go about starting school with that many vacancies? I mean,
So the number has gone down from
Good.
whatever. As of last night, we had
Okay.
hired about 3 more teachers.
Good,
So
okay.
we're hoping to be fully staffed at the pre-K center, and we're almost fully staffed at East.
Okay.
Our junior senior high, we may be still minus 3 teachers,
Okay.
but they're actively working that, and we want to make sure. Every district is looking for teachers,
Sure.
and it's very competitive.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to make sure that the kids start the school with a teacher in front of them. If you can remember the team that I have here today, one of the superintendent council members stated that she was without a math teacher for a year.
Yes.
And, although we have good subs can't take the place of teachers. So we not only do we want warm bodies, we want qualified people who can stand before our kids and deliver. So
Yeah.
we're working on increasing that number even more.
That's good. And you said that about the math teacher. That was where I was going next, because I know in a certain grade they did not have a math teacher all year long. And, if it had to happen in a year, at least it was a COVID year, because, more people are more understanding and things like that. Hopefully, I know you probably don't know this answer yet, because obviously we had no testing or anything to really benchmark where we're at 100%. That was another thing that's been the talk for years, is our scores being down. What are some of the things that you're going to do right off to hopefully boost those scores?
So we do have some scores, but those scores are embargoed as
Sure.
of today.
Sure.
So we won't be able to share that, but we will
Yeah.
be able to share that soon. So it's no shame. We know where we are,
Yeah.
but we have no place to go but up. So
Okay.
we are looking at a leader of professional development, so we can start targeting those areas where our teachers are needing assistance. Because if you think about it, if you dig into the root cause usually is not the student. The root cause is usually the adult and the lack of best practices that we have. That's not a bad thing. It's just that we as a district have to make sure that our teachers are getting what they need to teach our kids. And in the middle of a pandemic, not only do we have to be creative, we have to be conscientious to know that everybody social and emotional well-being was a struggle, which in turn made it difficult for the grown people and the students to be successful. So we're working on that. We have a behavior specialist that we have rerouted where she's going to be. We have her in the right place. We're going to make sure that everybody who needs to be in a place to help our kids and to help the adults be beneficial this year, that they're going to be there. So we're just asking that the community be mindful that we still want the pressure from our parents to educate our kids well, but please know that we are doing all we can to make sure that they're professionally developed and they get what they need.
Yeah, when the scores first started going, down, that would have been probably quite a while ago. But I know 2 superintendents ago, when I first started getting involved with some of this kind of stuff and began to learn a lot more about what was going on in the city schools, absenteeism was a big issue. It was huge. COVID probably did not help us there. I know it didn't help us in the church world at all. It took a while for people to come back.
Right.
And some of it was for health reasons. I believe that. Some of it, people can use that as an excuse, and then they don't want to come back because they got used to being home. Like in our situation, it's easier to watch church in your PJs than to get dressed and come to church. In school, it can kind of become the same way. The absenteeism, how are we going to address that and make sure the kids are coming to school that can be?
So we, this year also, the ESSER funds has allowed us an opportunity to be creative in what we're doing. So we're going to offer a parent liaison that's going to be at the helm of Mr. Yarbrough and helping, get out in the community, find where our kids are.
Yeah.
Because our absenteeism rate is a little higher than the state from this past year.
Yeah.
But we were in the, I can't say that because that's embargo.
Sure.
But our percentage participation rate was nice when we came to the assessment for this past year. So we are going to make some more concerted efforts to focus on the chronic absenteeism from both the students and the teachers, because we have, that goes hand in hand. So those are some of the things that we're going to work on. But the absenteeism, we've just got to figure out how we keep the kids engaged enough that they want to come. It's like this year, in my mind, it's like forsake not the assembly of the school. So we got to get them back in. So we're going to make sure that they get in and that we keep them in. But we, you know, I wanted Wayne to, he can jump in right here, but you know, if the Delta variants hit us very hard, we've got to be able to transition from in-person to remote. So we have taken care of that. We have spent some money and allotted for some funds for hotspots and all that. So if you'll give Wayne 30 seconds, I'd like for him to speak on that technology issue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, we have tried in the past. We're a couple of years into getting one-to-one for all students in Humboldt City Schools. This year, we will have one-to-one for every student in our district.
Okay.
K through 7 definitely will be Chromebooks. The rest, depending on some funding that comes in, we might be able to get a few more Chromebooks in their hands. But everybody else will be using what we currently had with the one-to-one or the 2-in-1 laptops, the Dell laptops. So every child will have access, which was different than what we had when COVID struck, because we spent 9 months waiting for Chromebooks to come in.
And that wasn't your fault.
No,
It's just the distributors.
Overseas, they just weren't making the parts. They weren't getting them to us.
Yeah.
So we ended up getting those, I think it was the middle of March when we finally got ours. We ordered them in August.
Yeah.
So we do have hotspots. We have them ready and waiting and ready to go out for those that need it. Of course, we've got kids that will need it immediately. But if we get into a point where, and Dr. Epperson has assured me that there's some money in there just in case we have to go to that, we can get some more hotspots and put them in the hands of students. So we're ready. We're, you know, and we've got every cell phone vendor out there with hotspots ready to hand us a device and get that monthly subscription. So they've got them on hand. They've stocked up. So so we will be prepared.
That's good. No, that's fantastic. And you know, and when I said that about the absenteeism too, that's not a shot at our families at all. I know from pastoring in this community, we have a different demographic, and I don't know if it's just our generation now or what it is. We have a different demographic even right here in this city. I'm pastoring more grandparents raising kids today than I would have ever thought I would have. And so that also played in during COVID when you have an older generation that's sending kids to school wondering, are they going to bring something home to me that's going to kill me? I understand that we had a lot more kids that would choose that. So that was not me by any means taking a shot at these folks, because I understood that. I think we're moving in the right direction as a school system. I love the things that I'm hearing today. Anything that you would like to just say, you know, to this community as we're just days away from starting school? They come in on Friday.
Absolutely. I just want to say that we're here to serve our communities. I have very passionately committed myself to be a servant leader. We're not going to stop doing that, and we want the parents to know that we want you to continue to entrust us with your babies, and because they're our babies also. I wouldn't be here if you guys didn't believe in our leadership, so I ask that you embrace the ideas of our team at the district and just reach out to us, and we're going to the best of our ability, respond back to you. Bring them back. We need them back. Research shows that kids do better when they're in person, and we're going to do all we can. And if for some unforeseen reason we have to turn to remote, we are going to make sure that our kids get the quality of education that they need. We don't plan on doing packets. I don't believe in worksheets. I just don't. I don't think worksheets can teach our babies. I think teachers teach babies. So we're going to make sure that our teachers get the professional development they need as we transition slowly to Google Classroom. And Google Classroom is just going to afford our babies to be a little bit more hands-on and creative. So I just ask the community to trust us, to send them back, and we're going to do all we can to accelerate them.
Sounds very good. Appreciate you stopping by here today. And that's all we've got for you on this program. We'll be back with Viking News on Demand School News very soon again next week. Also, don't forget, again, if you want to be a sponsor of athletics and this program, it's very reasonable. Email us at vikingnewsod@gmail.com. That's vikingnewsod@gmail.com, a website that you're going to want to put in that bookmark in that tab at the top of your internet browser, whichever you choose to use. That's vikingnewsondemand.com. We'll try to help push information out. We're on Facebook as well, pushing these games as well as this show and other information that they ask us to share. And we're here to not take the place of their social media by any means, just to be an extra arm to help push it out to maybe folks that aren't connected all over the city. We've got a lot of alumni that actually stay connected to this page as well. And matter of fact, I know of one that's going to be at the opening night of football, and I'm trying to twist his arm. It doesn't take a whole lot to get him on with me, and he brings a lot of knowledge about the game and can kind of talk more of the X's and O's and what he thinks is getting ready to happen. And I think he's got a little bit of knowledge with Coach Pettigrew as well. So it's going to be a great time together on that opening night of football. It's a home game right here at Barker Memorial Stadium, so you don't want to miss that. We'll be announcing sponsors, all of that very, very soon. Thanks for joining us, and thank you, Dr. Epperson, for being here today, and your staff for taking time for all of us here. For Viking News on Demand and Colin, I'm Seth Wilkerson. Thanks for watching.